Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Apple Box Chronicles. My name is Peyton Buto.
And I'm Adrian Thomas.
And today on the ABCs, we are taking you from A to Z, or should I say we're taking you from highest to lowest on Highest to Lowest, the new Spike Lee film, which is a reinterpretation of Akira Kurosawa's film called High and Low, a classic movie that everybody who's seen it pretty much loves. I believe it's one of the best films of all time. Spike Lee is a great director. Akira Kurosawa is one of my favorite directors, so I was really excited about this one. I think we both were.
Yeah. Ever since I heard that he was doing kind of like this remake, rebrand kind of thing with High and Low, I was like, this might work. Like, Spike Lee's done adaptations before in other movies that haven't worked, but there was something about him doing a Kurosawa movie where I'm like, I think he's gonna put a little bit more respect on that material, and I think he did.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Spike Lee really, I mean, obviously not a good track record with remakes with the whole Old Boy thing.
Yeah,
but I don't know. There's something that is less kind of copy and paste about this one.
yeah,
It's more, I think the story itself is more catered to his sensibilities, but also the way that he is able to adapt this film and really carry over into his own style. And because, like, the thing is, High and Low is so well regarded. I think as a story, it transfers way easier to an American context than Old Boy, because Old Boy is a Korean film that I think honestly would not have been made anywhere near the same in a Western
I mean, you would
sense.
have to completely like retextualize the entire movie.
Yeah, and I feel like they kind of try to make it a little more palatable in the remake. It just doesn't feel like it does the story any favors. Whereas High and Low is a critique of capitalism. And, you know, who needs a critique of capitalism more than American audiences?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah,
I think a lot of it, as you were saying to me earlier, like, has a lot to do with how, I guess, how American kind of like ideas and capitalism was integrated into Japan.
yeah.
In
Like
the post-war,
Japan,
yeah,
like when the American troops kind of took over after
right.
they surrendered. They kind of pushed them into a more capitalistic ideologies, more Western civilization kind of like consumerism and progression, tech forward. That's why Japan is so tech forward nowadays and so very efficient and effective with what they do. Is kind of part in the fact that they were pushed in that direction by
And
the
they're just
Americans.
better at it than us.
Yeah.
Which is why Spike Lee can't just remake High and Low and do it better. That's impossible. High and Low is already perfect, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's a fucking masterpiece. It's one of the best movies ever. Like I said, Kurosawa, one of my favorite guys. So
It's easily it's like top 5, top 3 Kurosawa movies. I feel like whether or not you love Kurosawa movies, it's hard to deny that High and Low is like one of the best movies he's done.
yeah, like I know some people that are not too hot on Kurosawa, and that is one of the ones that they're always like, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
That one's great. So yeah, and as far as Spike Lee, I haven't seen nearly as many of his movies as you, because you kind of made that like a COVID project.
Yes, me and Reed, our roommate, when COVID happened, we were just like, we should just go through all of his movies, and we went through literally all of his movies except for one, which we still need to watch, which is Jungle Fever. I'm sure it's good. We just for a while we didn't have the means to see it. We do now, but that'll probably be later. Anyway, we did see all of Spike Lee's movies, and I have a handle on how Spike Lee makes his movies now, and he's a very interesting director. He's not a one of those perfect directors where all of his movies are like these great films. He does have a record of having kind of a hit or miss kind of trajectory, but when it hits, it really hits, and when it misses, it's more like a failure in the experiment he's kind of trying to do, and less of like he just like that he's a bad director. It's more in the fact that he was trying to do something and it just didn't work out. Where most directors can be very safe in what they try to do, where Spike Lee's he's not afraid to like really branch out and do something different.
Yeah, there's a lot of directors like that will do something different almost every time, and then when they have a flop, then someone will just be like, oh, they're washed. It's like we have this kind of knee-jerk reaction nowadays to shit like that. It's like, let these people just put shit out, you know?
Yeah.
Let them play in their own rhythm and see what's up. Sometimes you gotta experiment like that. I think Spike Lee, yeah, he's very fluid in that way and very interesting. I mean, I obviously haven't seen nearly as many as you, but every single one I have seen besides Oldboy I've liked. Including this one.
Yeah.
And I could still see how this one might hold a higher on my ranking than most people, not just because of the Kurosawa connection, but because now y'all motherfuckers are making me passionate about this movie with how fucking, I'm not going to say stupid, but like, I am going to say stupid. Some of this shit is stupid, bro. Like, some of the... Like, I'm not trying to say that anyone's wrong for disliking the movie. That's obviously not something I would ever say or try to imply. I am just saying that there is this idea, I think, being put at this movie, which is so strange to put a Spike Lee movie under this kind of telescope, where it has to... Like, a movie is supposed to feel a certain way. And when a movie doesn't feel a certain way, it's bad. Like, that is, I think, actually a subconscious idea that a lot of people kind of have, where they're like, oh, but why did the movie felt this way, so it's bad. And I just often think people don't want to ask, why did the director want me to feel this certain way watching the movie? Because they don't always want you to feel entertained. They don't always want you to feel completely connected to the characters. In a weird way, I think there is a deliberate disconnect created in this movie that's super interesting. And yeah, maybe I'm wrong about that. Like, maybe it's not as intentional as I'm making it out to be, or what have you, but I just think the bad faith judgment that gets put on a lot of newer movies, even from some of our greatest filmmakers, are just crazy. Like,
yeah, I think the expectations of movies have kind of transcended the actual meaning of the movies nowadays, where people are kind of going in with their own expectations and what they want, and instead of, allowing the movie to be what it's supposed to be and what it's meant to be, they take it and they're like, oh, this isn't what I went in thinking it was, so obviously it must be a bad movie because I'm the only one that knows how movies are made. And that's how people are kind of like, that's how general audiences are kind of thinking nowadays, is that they think they're smarter than the movie.
Sure, yeah, that, but also just the idea of, like, I think a lot of people are very used to seeing movies have a specific tone, a specific rhythm, and it's like when they see something outside of that, I think people love an original story. I think like a mid-budget original movie can do very well and be very exciting for audiences.
Again, but that's the thing, it's about expectations. If you're going into a Spike Lee movie, Spike Lee's been around for a very long time. He's a very popular director, so in a lot of cases people are going to go in expecting one thing, not exactly understanding that it might be something else completely.
Right. But yeah, and I think even people who haven't seen a lot of Spike Lee movies are just going to be like, but it's a Spike Lee movie, so it's supposed to be good. But then they have this idea of what good is.
Exactly.
And so then it's like, what's happening? To me, a movie is good, and obviously this is my opinion, to me a movie is good if it has an intention and it sees through the intention, or if it has... If I can, as a viewer, if it doesn't matter if it's intentional fully to me, there is a whole like kind of death of the artist kind of aspect to it, where if I can form kind of a way that the movie speaks to me and works on like watching it, if I'm kind of like, asking questions and giving myself answers in a way, you could say I'm delusional, but it's like...
No, that's how art works.
That's how art works. Yeah, like I watched this movie and I asked like, well, why is he framing the tone in this way? Why do I feel this way about what he's doing. And then I think, okay, well, maybe that's kind of the point, because I know the context of High and Low. I know it is inherently where Kurosawa doesn't really change up the form and the tone of the movie that much in the first and second half of his film, but it has always been an inherently bifurcated story. It's in two parts. It's high and it's low. Highest to Lowest is a different title. It's it implies a gradual descent in some way. But it's still a kind of bifurcated story. It's still like there is a clear point in this film, in my opinion, where the movie changes into the second half of the movie, which happens in Kurosawa's movie as well. Yeah. So I just think Spike Lee is is wanting to play with that even more.
Yeah, we are kind of get ahead of ourselves a bit.
Well, obviously, I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty. We can start now. That's just my basic review of the movie. I think it's a very intentional movie that does what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, we should probably just talk about what this movie's, like, the synopsis of the movie.
Yeah.
For anybody watching this, they're probably like, okay, great. What are we talking about? What is this movie even?
No. I think if you're listening to this, I mean, right now it's playing in 200 screens, but it's going to be on Apple TV Plus pretty soon, so, like, people will be able to see it.
Yeah.
All right, so the synopsis. The tagline for this movie, which is important, is "All money ain't good money." And the synopsis says, when a Titan music mogul is targeted with a ransom plot, he is jammed up in a life-or-death moral dilemma. A reinterpretation of Akira Kurosawa's crime thriller High and Low, now played out on the mean streets of modern-day New York City. Literally spells it out in the synopsis, which is very interesting.
But yeah, in terms of my, like, kind of quick review on this movie is that it's great. It's honestly, for me, one of Spike Lee's better movies of his entire career. Probably not top 3, but maybe top 5, maybe even top 10. But that's obviously, he's only got like 20 something movies out, so it's in the good portion of, like, what he's done in his career.
Yeah, I probably would even agree if I had seen as many as you, which I haven't.
Yeah, but no, he's really doing his thing here. Like, this is something I wrote in some of my reviews, is that this movie is not a perfect movie, but I consider it a perfect Spike Lee joint. It's a perfect Spike Lee movie.
So here's what I think when you say that.
What?
I don't think there is a perfect movie.
There is no perfect movie.
Right. So I think Spike Lee makes Spike Lee joints, so therefore it is a perfect movie because it's a perfect Spike Lee joint. Because Spike Lee can't make anything other than a Spike Lee joint.
True. But I also believe that now, obviously, saying the movie is a perfect movie is a subjective analysis.
It's also inherently just a bit hyperbolic, obviously.
Yeah, but I do believe that Spike Lee has made a perfect Spike Lee joint and a perfect movie before. I can't say the same thing about this movie, though.
I mean, yeah, it's okay to have different, I guess, ideas on what that means.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, in my perspective, if the movie is exactly his movie, the way he wants it, and it has all the things that make it his and authentically his, and it's very sincerely forward about itself, I just think, like, to me, that I have to say if it's a perfect Spike Lee joint, to me that means it is a perfect movie, because there is no movie if it's not a Spike Lee joint like this.
Yeah,
it would have to not be made by Spike Lee for it to be anything other than that.
Yeah, but like what I've said earlier is that he's made a lot of hit and misses, and everything except from Oldboy is considered a Spike Lee joint.
Right.
And he doesn't have a lot of great movies, even though they're inherently very much a Spike Lee.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. You're saying he's mastered his style in this movie.
Yes.
Okay. No, I understand. I understand what you're saying. I'm just using it as a segue to say, I think I would consider the movie to be perfect just for that reason. Like, to me, it's like if you as a human being, as a filmmaker, have mastered what makes you, and put that into a piece, then then that has to be a perfect movie. Like, I was deliberating on this. I was like, would I even claim this to be? I was like, yeah, of course it is. You know, when you said that, it kind of like that kind of just was like, well, my thing is, it is. I don't know if that makes sense.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, for me, is that I feel like there are flaws in this movie, and that's why I can't necessarily, like, it's not a movie in which I'm watching the entire thing and I'm like, oh, there wasn't one slip up. But
right.
But
I get you.
But this movie is still really good. Like, I still consider it a really, really good movie.
But maybe the slip ups just lie outside of like what a Spike Lee movie has that's exclusive to that.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, you could say, I guess I don't feel that way either. I don't feel like the movie is, I guess, necessarily flawless. I think to me, just flawless and perfect are two different things. Like, I you know what I mean? Like, a movie is never perfect. So if you say it's perfect, that means it's perfect to you.
Well, that's what I mean when a movie is perfect. It's more the fact that it is kind of flawless in its interpretation or what it's trying to do.
Sure.
And the way it's directed, written, all that stuff is just like top tier. There's nothing really to really say that it isn't like flawed.
So to me, this is a staple of the Apple Box Chronicles. Is we will go back and forth for a really long time on a single point that we both completely understand where the other person is coming from, and we're basically saying the same thing, but we will still try to explain it to each other in 10 different ways until it gets extremely repetitive. So some of this might even be cut down, but that's what happens sometimes.
Yeah, and another thing we were talking about this, us and some of our roommates were talking about how Spike Lee, he's the type of director who's always trying to make a movie with a message or something to say. He's always trying to say something really serious.
He's got a lot of conviction.
Important. He's trying to uphold like certain morals, and that's what I love about his movies, is that he's always there's something he's trying to put out there, trying to communicate to the world, and whether it's really serious or not, his personality is going to come through as well. And if you know anything about Spike Lee, he's very funny. He's very energetic. Yeah, he's very out there personality. He's a very charming guy too. Like I can't get mad at him. Like even if he does like a bad, like his energy is so great, and he loves cinema so much. Like he's such a he's one of those great directors who's like movies first, like cinema first, like and I feel like that comes through with this movies, that his energy and his love for the movies really come through. And even though in some movies in which he probably should be more serious with the subject matter that he's portraying, his energy still just comes through. His kind of his wackiness and his outgoingness comes through, and it could be a detriment to some of his films, but I think in this movie it's not. It adds a flavor to the movie.
There's so much character to all of his movies.
Like, I love High and Low. It is truly one of Kurosawa's best movies. It's not a movie I could just watch like all the time. It's not. It's kind of a pretty long movie. There's a lot going on. It's very it's one of those movies you really gotta sit down and watch. And the same could be said about this movie, but I enjoy watching this movie a bit more than even High and Low. There's just more of an energy, more of a it's just more enjoyable. It's weirdly more entertaining.
I mean,
in a way.
It's just more fun.
Yes,
I
and
guess
that's what
I would say. I like High and Low better, obviously.
Yeah,
but
no. In terms of if we are comparing these movies, High and Low is always going to be the.
I think even
movie.
Spike Lee knows that.
Yeah, and I think that's also the thing when he is remaking this film, is that he's like, I can't beat Akira Kurosawa. Nobody could beat the master. You can't make a remake of an Akira Kurosawa movie and make it better. It's not possible. People have tried to do it. Have tried to do that before, and it doesn't work. You could retextualize it and adapt it in a different way, and that could work. Like, for instance, A Fistful of Dollars.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically a complete remake of Yojimbo, but in the context of a Western, a spaghetti Western, and that works. Here, it also works because he's not trying to do Kurosawa again. He's trying to do his own thing through the template of a Kurosawa movie. And I think that's what makes it work here, is that he's not trying to do Old Boy again. He's not trying to just make the same movie again. He's trying to do something different and trying to say a different message or a different theme than what the original movie was trying to do, but through the same kind of context, through the same story and plot. And that's what most adaptations that work do, is they just retextualize it in a way that works in the way that the filmmaker is trying to put it out there.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think comparing this to High and Low is almost a silly thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like they're two different...
They're so different.
They're two different goals. They have different goals.
That's the thing. They both are trying to do something different, but by utilizing the same structure and even moral ideologies.
That's basically why he always calls it a reinterpretation.
Yeah.
He's like, this is a reinterpretation. I feel like he used that word a lot when he was promoting Old Boy, and it was completely different then. Like, it doesn't hit the same with that film, because there really isn't a lot going for that film that he does differently.
He's like disowned the movie. It's called a Spike Lee movie, not a Spike Lee joint.
Yeah. It's not a Spike Lee joint.
Yeah, it's not his movie.
That's exactly my point, is like if he tries to make a Spike Lee film, it's not going to work like that.
Yeah.
It's not going to... It can't be... It almost can't even be as good as his worst Spike Lee joint. You know what I mean?
Because it's not him.
Yeah. If it's him, it's going to inherently, in my opinion, that makes it better. Yeah. So I guess we should just get into it. Like,
I mean, we already got into it.
We got into some of it, but let's get into, like, the nitty-gritty, you know what I mean? So let's talk about the highest first, which is essentially the first half of this movie, because this is where you guys are tripping, right? So, like, movie starts... It's very corny.
Yeah, it's kind of has this like we've talked about, kind of like the soap opera kind of drama.
Yeah,
going on.
And I see people saying that as a negative. Like, it felt like, I said in my review, I was like, this movie has such an interesting command over tone. I really admire it. And this guy was like, command over tone? It felt like a soap opera. I'm like, so the movie had a really good control over its tone because you felt like felt like a soap opera. And that's what I'm saying it's trying to do. So we agree.
Yeah. Right?
But, like, here's the problem. Then, when I say that, people think, oh, so you're saying the movie was bad on purpose? That's such a cop-out. No, because there is not, like, this idea of good and bad in art is so weird now, where people are like, oh, if the movie doesn't feel like a good movie, then it's a bad movie. I'm like, what feels like a good movie? Because every movie just about has very different goals. Like, there's so many different ways to make a movie. There's so many different ways to, like, evoke different feelings through movies, and a lot of them are very kind of off-key and different and strange, and they make you feel strange. And so when you watch this movie and you think, oh, this feels like a soap opera, I think, at least first, before you complain about it and say, oh, it didn't work, which is a valid opinion. I'm not saying you can't say it didn't work. Just, maybe wonder. That's what I said to people too. I advised them, like, just be curious about it a little bit.
Yeah.
And wonder, maybe he meant for it to feel this way. Why would he want to do that? Why would he want to make the movie feel that way?
Yeah, a lot of people don't know even how to articulate how they feel about a movie. They can't really... They're like, oh, it's a bad movie. Okay, why is it a bad movie? It's a bad... It doesn't look good. It doesn't feel good. The acting's bad or wooden, or the writing's bad. It's like, okay, so but what makes it bad? but it's bad. It's written bad.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, yeah, but what makes it bad? You can't tell me what makes it bad because you don't know how to articulate what makes it bad because you're not actually looking into the movie itself.
The thing is, sometimes when people say stuff is terrible, sometimes when they can't articulate it, I wonder if maybe they're just saying it's bad because it was unusual. It's not what they're used to.
Yeah.
And that unusual kind of feeling kind of shined through the movie, and they didn't understand it, and they didn't know how to take it.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, when you're so used to seeing the same kind of movie all the time, because, you know, I work at a theater. A lot of the time, there's like two really great, and there are original movies coming out consistently. Don't get it twisted. But it's like there's like a couple great original movies every week, and then there's also like the 5, you know, regular movies that came out. And it's like, I'm not saying I don't even enjoy those. I enjoy those, and you should too. But you should watch like everything so that you have this better idea of all the different ways film can make you feel.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, there's not a right answer to this. There's not a right way to make a movie. There's maybe a right way to make a movie that you can sell, you know what I mean, to like but I don't know, we've strayed so far from like trying to really wow people and show them something different, and now it's just like, how can we appeal to as many people as possible and make this movie palatable to everybody as possible. And that's why people say all movies feel the same, because they're not seeing movies like this.
Yeah.
Shit, you can't. It's only like 200 theaters. I feel bad. I feel lucky that I was able to see it.
Yeah.
But I feel bad.
It will be on, I guess, Apple Plus soon, but again, not everybody has Apple Plus, and they don't even distribute Blu-rays or DVDs or 4Ks or any of that. So they make it kind of harder for people to see the movies that they want to showcase.
Well, hopefully A24 will come through with a Blu-ray. Hopefully that was part of the contract, and you can get a Blu-ray, because I would really enjoy having this movie on Blu-ray, I think.
Yeah.
I guess we can just get into a little bit of the story.
Yeah.
Which we already obviously did the plot synopsis. So David King, played by Denzel Washington. Denzel works so great with Spike Lee because I think he's just as kind of experimental in a way.
Oh, yeah, his acting in this movie is so... It feels like a bit of Broadway. It feels a bit like stage play. It feels very experimental in what he's doing and how he's like interacting with his environment and with the characters in his environment. And you just don't see actors like really test what they could do with the material they have.
That's the thing Denzel does so well. He's always like trying stuff. I think I've seen him say in interviews, he's like, you always got the next take.
Yeah.
Like, so let's just do it. If it doesn't work, we'll do another take.
Yeah.
But like, let's just go for whatever. And so he does a lot of just the physicality of his performance. I mean, Denzel, what is he, 70 now?
I actually don't know.
I think
he's pretty old, though.
I think he's 70. And the dude is just still killing it.
Yeah.
Like, he is such a good actor. I did not understand this before I saw a Denzel Washington movie. Like, before I had seen him act in anything, like, my grandparents were just like, oh, he's like the best actor of all time. And I was like, why is everyone gassing up this guy? What did he do that was so cool? And I just saw him, and I was like, oh, my God. It's, like, impossible not to want to watch him, bro. Yeah. There is literally... I don't know how. I'm sure there is one because, like, I haven't seen all of them. But I find it hard to even imagine a boring Denzel Washington movie because it's just watching him is just so fun. It doesn't even matter if the movie around him is, like, that fantastic or anything.
Yeah, like, even his Equalizer movies. Not terrible movies. They're fine action pieces, but they get elevated a lot by just the fact that Denzel Washington is the main character.
Yeah. Yeah, I will watch anything he's in. But his character is established as almost like this godlike figure in the music industry. He's a record producer, record executive for Stacking Hits Records. And he basically just is able to call the shots. Like, people are waiting for him to get out of his car so they can play a song for him for just a few seconds and see if he'll, like, sign them. Yeah. You know, he has all these eyes on him. Like, people want to meet him. People want to get his ears to their music. And we kind of see how the movie itself is, in a way, I guess, disconnected from the soul of the thing, just like he is.
Yeah, like even the music that people are playing for him, the music is literally about him. Like they're trying to appease to him specifically. It's not really about the music itself. It's about getting seen.
Yeah, they're not letting themselves be known through their music. They're trying to play music for other people's ears, which is the problem.
Yeah.
And David King, he doesn't have like a terrible view on the music. He's like, AI is bad, it's soulless, there's no soul in it, like and that's great, to hear him say that, because that makes him likable. But you get this idea that like even he's kind of lost connection to
he's trying to get back that connection at the beginning of this movie. He's like, we've lost it and we're trying to do this sale on our record, but there could still be good stuff out there. If we only let AI take over, we're not going to get any good music anymore, and we need to go back to that. And that's why he wants to keep the record, so that he could kind of get back to that. He feels like the industry is just going to collapse if he lets that go, and he can't let it go.
But you see how like his powers have made him so desirable that the music he's getting thrown is not even like it because it's for him. It's not going to like. It's oddly enough, it doesn't speak to him anyway.
Yeah, because I think even though he still has he's in his right mind about the music, he's kind of lost the humility of not being able to capture the best like he apparently in the movie his character used to be like one of the greatest like producers and recording artists of his time. Even Quincy Jones gave him like a Grammy or something which is insane, which is incredible. I would want to meet him too.
I think Quincy Jones called him the future
or
of music.
Something like that. And to have that on you, of course you're gonna think you're a god. You're like, yeah, I'm him. I could do whatever. He has like 2
best years in the business.
Yeah. He has like 2 what is it, like times
I think so.
Covers that he has. And you could see that like this has overcome him, and he doesn't know the humility of being that first time music artist anymore. He doesn't connect to what makes the music great anymore, and he wants to get back to that. He just doesn't know how.
It's also, I think, weirdly, because he's in such a high place in terms of his status, he's doing well for himself financially, and he has all this positive attention being thrown his way. I think to a degree it's kind of harder for him to like really to resonate with some of the music as well. And that is until his son gets kidnapped, or so we think for a second. So if you don't know, this is true for both films, High and Low and this one. In High and Low, the son of Toshiro Mifune's character gets kidnapped, but then we find out, no, his son didn't get kidnapped. It was his chauffeur's son. The kidnapper made a mistake. In this film, it's like his best friend's son.
It's also his chauffeur.
He basically, he does drive him around at a couple points. But Jeffrey Wright plays that character in this one, much more expanded upon, because he's not really expanded upon in the original film that much. But it's a key component of this movie that, and I think the tone, the thing we were talking about, and the way that the movie communicates itself, is that when the kidnapping is happening, everyone's very focused on Denzel and his family getting his son back. Even after before we find out that the kidnapper made a mistake, you're seeing Jeffrey Wright panicking in the corner like, yo, I can't get a hold of my son. Has anyone heard from my son? What about my son, sort of thing? And everyone's like, being an asshole to him, kind of brushing him aside, mistreating him, asking him inappropriate questions. And then, after we find out that the kidnapper actually took his son, still, just like, he's not really treated the same way, even though we just saw how the police treated Denzel's plight before.
It's like, because Denzel has this status, he gets all the good stuff, but because Jeffrey Wright's character, he's an ex. He used to be in jail. I guess he used to be.
He's on
a criminal.
probation.
Yeah. Well, he was off of
Or
probation.
he's off probation.
He used to be on probation.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's just kind of like this chauffeur friend of Denzel Washington's character. He's very, I believe he's Muslim, and he has just all these things against him, in terms of like the American system, that they won't even give him the time of the day, even though it's his son that's in the problem, that's in the situation. And it just kind of shows you the way people treat people nowadays. If you're rich, you got power, you got some sort of attention on you, a positive attention on you, then you're gonna get all the benefits. But if you're just a nobody, or you're someone just kind of below that, you're just some dude, and why should we care about you?
Yeah, and I think obviously the filmmaking, I think, is clear as day, just trying to illustrate this in the way that it's melodramatic, in the way that even when the kidnapping happens, it's so like, it's so soapy, like, you know, the music, like the like the oh, he's been kidnapped, and then the music's like dun dun dun, basically.
I love the music in this movie.
I love it too. People
It's
are
so
like, oh,
good.
that omnipresent, like, you know, that score that kind of like it pervades the scenes, and I'm like, I think it really does pervade the scenes kind of on purpose.
Yeah.
It's, again, I'm not saying, oh, it was on purpose, so that makes it good. No, I'm saying it was on purpose, so you shouldn't say it was a stupid accident.
Yeah.
And it's okay if you didn't think it worked. I just personally think it did. That's
Yeah.
it. And I enjoyed watching it for that reason. I was like a smile on my face watching these scenes where this music was coming in, and I was like, this is corny as fuck. I'm loving it. I'm loving how he's making this feel like so kind of plasticky, because I knew that something bigger was coming as a result.
Yeah,
I knew it was
the first
to create
half
contrast.
is super soapy, super melodramatic, and it really leans into that, so that when the turning point happens, and then you find out that it's Jeffrey Wright's character's son, and then you actually see the son who's like tied up in a bathroom in a tub. You see the reality of it hits, and then we're back on the ground. We're not as like high and mighty. It's like, oh, okay.
I also want to say that the thing you were saying about like the way the American system treats Denzel's character because he's like a bigger name. There's also a scene that illustrates this pretty well when the cops are questioning the coach that the two boys were spending time with when one of them got kidnapped. And the coach, I guess, used to be like a famous athlete.
Yeah, Coach Fox.
Yeah. So they're like, oh, when you're writing down your number for like info, can you also give me an autograph? You know what I mean? Like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And that's very much illustrating exactly what you're talking about. But in terms of that shot that you were talking about, where we see the actual, you know, Jeffrey Wright's son actually tied up in a bathtub.
Also, quick fun fact: that is Jeffrey Wright's actual son.
Yeah.
The actor is Jeffrey Wright's actual son, who plays his son in the movie.
That's really interesting.
Which is pretty fun.
So there is, so once, you know, they kind of do some deliberating on whether or not Denzel's going to pay this ransom. It's similar to how Toshiro Mifune thinks about it in the original movie, and they kind of come to the same decision in this movie, that he's going to pay the ransom, but that they're going to try and, like, you know, they're going to do this whole trade, you know, handoff and try and get the money back while also getting the son back and everything. But, you know, once he makes that decision to do the right thing, and pay the ransom, that is when the movie clicks into place.
That's when it kicks into gear.
That's when he leaves the room, and we see Jeffrey Wright. We're sitting with him finally. We're sitting with his pain. He
he's praying.
he prays, he touches the floor, literally goes from high to low, right? Gets on the ground, and then we get this great shot from the ceiling down to the floor, highest to lowest, of his son tied up in a bathtub, and we're actually allowed in on the seriousness of the situation and the severity of it that the film was not allowing us to see before, because we had too much money and power to care about that. Now we don't.
Yeah.
So we are allowed to see it. So again, I just think this movie does a great job of like really allowing the filmmaking to work in tandem with the story and like it creates an experience.
Yeah.
You know, you're not just watching the story filtered through an aesthetic that is the same as everything else. And I feel like that's what a lot of movies are. Even if they have a really fun story, they're filtered through these aesthetics that are like, yeah, I've seen all this stuff before. It's like recognizable. But when something feels very different, I feel like it gets rejected a lot of the time. But aesthetics should be in service of the story. Aesthetics and tone and stuff, like, it should be a whole package, a whole piece. It's like it's greater than the sum of its parts, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what I think this movie is. And that gets us into one of the best scenes in the movie.
Yeah, when they finally are trying to drop off the money, we have to go through this whole subway system thing, and it's a really cool montage where we kind of get started. We get that iconic Spike Lee. It's where the character is kind of like with the camera on, I think, a dolly or something, and the camera's moving forward or backward.
Yeah, the like double dolly shot. Yeah,
and we get one of the cops kind of breaking down how the drop off is gonna happen, and we get this great music, which is, I have a little theory about the music. If you hear the music at that point, it's actually by another person, another composer, Fergus McCready. Very Irish sounding name. The music sounds very Irish, very Celtic, very much in that, like, you could see someone doing like an Irish jig to it. Mm-hmm. But it's great. It's amazing. And my theory on that is that because we're in kind of like that police procedural part of the movie, there's a lot of comments about how, you know, cops used to be Irish. A lot of cops were Irish, especially in New York, kind of that East Coast area. A lot of history with Irish cops, and to play that music during the police procedural part of it, I think is very textual for the movie. It's also not by the main composer of the film. It's a piece of music that they kind of adapted for the movie. And I feel like they picked that out specifically for that scene, because not only is it really good, but it kind of showcases that this is now the part where we're kind of like in the first, like in High and Low, we're in the police kind of section of the movie where we're going for the drop off and trying to catch the kidnapper as well. And I just feel like when it comes to Spike Lee and music in his films, it's so culturally like tangible, and it's there,
very
and
pointed.
Yes, and then the music stops, and then we get into another kind of musical scene where we have the Puerto Rican Day Parade, or Puerto Rican Day, like they're having like some kind
I
of
think
like
it's a parade.
Parade.
Yeah.
Because they were like in a concert area. It wasn't like
but like that's part of the parade. Like
there is a parade.
Yeah, there is a parade. Yeah.
Yeah. But then we get into the Puerto Rican music, and it's really good. Also, you mentioned that one of the pianists,
Eddie Palmieri.
Yeah, he passed away just recently.
And this was his last appearance in a film.
But the music's also really good at this point too, because I think the music for the Puerto Rican Day Parade scene happens is when the kidnappers kind of get the upper hand, and we kind of lose track of the whole the police aspect of it, because we're now in the kidnappers. They got the money now, and we're with them, and I don't know. I don't think they're trying to say that, you know, Puerto Rican music is associated with the bad guys, but I do think that it's really cool that they kind of swap music themes when the drop off kind of changes perspective, and like
changes hands.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's cool. I also think that like when we're in this point where, you know, like I said, we're now in Lowest, right? So we're seeing how the music becomes more, like you said, culturally tangible. The music becomes more pointed and meaningful, and less melodramatic and more intense. And it's like, you know, David King and us, the audience, our feet are now back on the ground. We're seeing, you know, what it's like we're kind of seeping ourselves back into the soul of the music, and so the music has a lot of intention and culture and soul behind it, and you see these people actually playing it, and it's a celebration of culture literally happening during this intense chase sequence. It's a really great
and
scene.
It's not just that sequence, it's like the entire movie, even the song that A$AP Rocky does, from the front to the back, from highest to lowest.
Up the trunk from the front to the back.
Yeah, it's very textual in like what the movie's trying to say, from the front to the back, from the highest to the lowest. It's I think that's the case with a lot of Spike Lee movies too. Is the music is very prevalent in his films. Sometimes not as much as people would assume, but even the music in Inside Man, so good, and he brings back that same theme in Black Klansman at the very end, because again, he's very textual with his music. He knows what the music means for him and for his movies. He plays the theme for Inside Man and Black Klansman because he is an inside man. He's exactly. A black man in the Klan.
Yeah.
So the way he uses his music is always so interesting. Every single time I've seen a Spike Lee movie, I love it. Like even like Public Enemy at the beginning of Do the Right Thing, incredible.
Yeah.
Fight the Power. Like I really want to see a Spike Lee like concert film. He has done concert films before, but I think he did one with David Byrne, American Utopia.
Nice.
Which I haven't seen, but I really want to, because I think that's kind of like his Don't Speak Stop Making Sense.
Yeah.
But I want to see him do something like in the vein of like a music documentary or something like that. He probably has done something like that I haven't seen, but I think that'd be really interesting.
I think that would be interesting too. I would watch it.
Yeah.
And after this, we kind of get how we get basically the same thing as in High and Low. They lose the money for a little bit, and they have to take some time before they can recover it. They're still trying to find the kidnapper. Kidnapper gets away in this part, but they do get Jeffrey Wright's son back.
Yeah, Kyle.
And they, of course, treat him very differently when they're interrogating him and they're asking him questions about what he saw, what he knows. It's like they won't give him a break, and even Jeffrey Wright's like, when the other son got home, like, you guys weren't treating him like this, and so then we see how David King's life, he has a lot of positive attention, even more so now.
Yeah.
And he's being seen as a hero, which is kind of something that happens in High and Low as well to the Mifune character. But now he owes all this money back to his investors because he had to use it for the ransom instead of buying the rights to the record company. So now he's like facing the threat of like legal action.
He's like in another dilemma now.
Yeah, he's in another dilemma where he has to get his money back. The police aren't really being helpful. And this is where he finally listens to the music.
Yeah.
And he finds young felon who is the villain of the movie. He recognizes his voice.
Yeah, A$AP Rocky
from the phone. And yeah, A$AP Rocky really great in this movie.
Yeah.
Like truly. But when he discovers that, the police are like, "Oh, well, we got to take some time. We got to run it through the AI like voice detection." He's like, "I got the best ears in the business. I don't need AI to tell me what I already fucking know."
Yeah.
Like, and again, there's that whole thing. It's like the system moves so slowly because we try to supplant the human element, and we don't, we try to take the soul out of things. It's like we're not going to move the same way.
Yeah.
And the important shit gets kind of put to the side because we're going through all this red tape and we're going through all this shit when it comes to I don't know. We're trying to make things more efficient, but we actually make things more complicated.
Yes. It's very what do you call it? Bureaucratic.
Yeah, exactly.
And so he has to take it upon himself to find young felon because apparently young felon lives in like the same area as
Well, yeah, Jeffrey Wright's able to find him because he's just got connections.
He's got connections.
Like, the streets know who he is. The streets will know.
Yeah.
And so they go out to find him. Great scene. James Brown playing in the car.
Denzel's
shadow boxing.
Again, the music so good.
And then Jeffrey Wright pulls out a gun and he's like, "This is insurance." That's Jake from State Farm. One of the funniest jokes in the fucking movie.
So good. And then he takes out another one. He's like, "This is mayhem."
Yeah, and then they go up to the apartment, which is actually, I mean, young felon's not home. It's his girlfriend that's there.
Yeah.
And the apartment number is A24, and this is an
Really?
A24 movie.
That got like the second biggest laugh, I think, in the theater.
Yeah, everyone lost it at that.
Yeah.
Because we saw it at a sold-out show.
Yeah, and his girlfriend, played by Princess Nokia, another rapper. Haven't listened to her stuff.
It's an incredible name.
Kind of want
Princess
to.
Nokia.
Yeah, because
Incredible.
like, wow, it's. I'm kind of curious. Is Princess and Nokia like the phone? Interesting.
Maybe it means something else too. I don't know.
But he talks to her and he finds out that this young felon guy who tried to kidnap his son loves him. He thinks he's a god. He's like, yeah, he looks up to you and he does his music because he wants to be just like you.
The thing is, he even says on the phone during the kidnapping segment, he's like, "You're not God anymore. I am.
Yeah.
You know, you don't set the rules anymore. I do." And you know, this is kind of another angle to the fact that like, if you get to a high enough point, you know, he even says in the movie like, "I wanted to drag you down to hell with me." It's like, you know, it's like he just wants to kind of have the power that David King has.
Yeah, the class divide is so big that it feels impossible for people who are down low to even find a way to where David King is, to like even get there.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard for people to rise in not just that industry, but in just reality, just in our own lives. It's hard to excel at something, even something you're very passionate about, and to get up to a point where you feel like you've accomplished something in your life.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the reason why in both High and Low and Highest to Lowest, the person at the bottom has to do drastic measures to get what they want.
Right. In High and Low, it's like, yeah, the system the capitalistic system will like make it so that rich people can't do the right thing without losing their fortune. Like, you can't succeed at the system and be a good person at like the same time. It just doesn't work. Whereas when and then the people on the low are just they're gonna lash out and do crazy stuff because there's such a huge divide.
Yeah, that you can't reach that.
Like, you see it in Kurosawa's film, like how bad the people on the low end have it. Like, I'm saying the low end is like, you know, structurally in the movie.
Yeah.
How bad those people have it. Like, he really takes you through that city and you see it. And so it's like, yeah, this dude just like, he's angry. He went crazy and he just did something crazy.
Yeah, and with this movie, the difference is that it's about artistic integrity. And where young felon probably could like rise in fame with just his music and getting enough attention and like putting his stuff out there, but he doesn't believe that. He doesn't believe that it will work if he, you know, says what he feels and what he puts in his music. He has to kind of account the populist kind of music genre of what he's doing.
Yeah, there's a fantastic scene, probably the best scene in the movie, when they're in the music recording booth.
Yeah, Denzel has finally found him. And
yeah,
he's like, he finally he's contacted him. He's like, dude.
Yeah, he goes into the studio and confronts him.
Yeah,
and so they're on either sides of this glass. And it's kind of like you're thinking, oh, this is like Kurosawa's movie with the interrogation at the end of the film between the protagonist and the antagonist.
Yeah.
And they are in this scene kind of mirrored in a way, because you're seeing how they're kind of I guess hashing out where they are, who they are to one another.
This is where the kind of that bifocal thing is happening. It's like you get the high at the music studio, and then you get the low at the actual interrogation scene. Well, not the interrogation, but like the scene where he talks to him in prison.
Yeah, so there's like two in this movie.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. So like in this first one, Denzel, they're doing a freestyle
Yeah.
rap battle back and forth, which is super interesting. Like
Yeah.
it really makes you lean forward in your seat because the
It's
acting is great.
yeah, it's like old school meets new school. It's really fun.
Yeah, it's awesome. But basically, what they're talking about is young felon is, I guess, he has a lot of unpacked anger
Yeah.
towards like his father and like stuff like that, and Denzel's kind of poking at that to see where it all comes from, like what who are you as an artist, like where are you coming from. And it feels like young felon kind of rejects a lot of that stuff, like you were saying, and he's, I think he's making music about,
He just that's the problem, is that society has made it so that people want to be popular and seen and have attention on them and have that, and that is the currency, is that attention, instead of the usual case with money. And I think by the fact that he tried to steal the money from Denzel and do the whole kidnapping thing, that leads to more attention for young felon. So in a way, he is getting more of what he wanted, but not in the way that works out for him the way that he thought it would.
I think the ultimate plan was like, okay, like if I can get him on my level to where he needs a success, he needs money, right? Then if I'm popular because of what I did, because like attention is the most powerful form of currency. So if I'm going to get a lot of attention for doing this, and he's going to lose a lot of money, then he's going to need me and my attention to propel, he's going to want to sign me, which is ultimately what he wants.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work out that way.
Not all money is good money.
Exactly. So,
then we get another chase.
Yes, that we do. And I just want to say, you were saying how he kind of, people want to be, I guess, have a lot of attention. But I think, like, the paradox of that is that people want attention for, I guess, the wrong reasons. Like, we want to put out stuff and make ourselves appealing to other people, and so we put out stuff that has essentially no soul to it, no actual personality to it, and so we just want other people to see us and like and like us and stuff. But the paradox is that I think you gain more you gain more fulfillment out of being yourself and putting your true self out there, because then that makes other people want to be themselves.
Yeah, like when like we're saying, when we're trying to do everything for attention, we're kind of putting out what we assume people want to hear or people want to see, not stuff that we ourselves want to do or see. And then you kind of lose yourself in that, because you lose what you want to do in this career or whatever artistic avenue you're trying to go through, because you're trying to appeal too much to the people that you don't even know, you don't even see, and then by doing that, you kind of lose track of who you are, and you don't even know yourself anymore, and that could be like the ultimate like downfall in the way people perceive art, music, movies, anything. It's gonna be a battle between wanting to appease people and trying to do the things that you want to do and the things that make you happy.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That's the whole crux of the movie.
That's just what happens when art has industries behind it.
Yeah.
It's just having those two things coexist. That's just what happens.
Yeah.
Now it's like, well, you can now earn money for not even necessarily making something that's honest. That's not good money. Yeah. I think that's what the movie's trying to say. And yeah, he does catch him. They do have another chase sequence, which basically leads us to this second interrogation.
Yeah.
That really, it puts everything kind of into perspective, how this movie is different from Kurosawa's movie.
Yes. Yeah, it really is. Like, this is the difference between Spike Lee and Kurosawa. The way they do this scene, the way they shoot this scene.
Yeah, it's all in the cinematography.
Yeah.
Kurosawa shoots his characters as a mirror, right? Like, you can see Mifune's reflection in the other guy's face, and vice versa. In this scene, Spike Lee doesn't put these guys like face to face like that. He shows side profiles, he shows close-ups, but he's not putting them as a mirror. He's showing them as different.
Yeah.
And the difference is that one of them still thinks they're God. One of them still thinks they are they can lord over the music and control it and have use it for gain, when really I think that Kurosawa even said this best. He ironically, I think it's like, okay, I don't know if this is intentionally.
Yeah,
what
I don't think
Spike
it's
Lee,
ironic. I think it's
sorry, not ironically. I just mean like funny enough.
Yeah.
Basically, Kurosawa actually said when he gained an Oscar, an honorary like life award Oscar, he said, "I'm a little worried because I don't feel that I understand cinema yet. I really don't feel that I have yet grasped the essence of cinema. Cinema is a marvelous thing, but to grasp its true essence is very, very difficult." And I think what Spike Lee is taking from that, maybe not taking from that directly, but what he's putting into this movie regardless, is that the highest is the art itself.
Yeah.
The highest thing, the thing that we can never rise above, is the soul and the creation and the honesty of the art itself and the culture of it. And once you start to believe that you are the thing that kind of lifts that up instead of vice versa,
Yeah.
that's when you start to lose touch.
Yeah.
With the soul of the thing.
So yeah, there's this whole thing, this whole like idea that you see art from like the Renaissance period, a lot of art throughout history is amazing. Like you see all these great paintings, like Leonardo da Vinci, like all of his stuff, and they're all amazing like pieces of work. Some incredibly huge stuff that you can't even imagine people doing today, and that's because they're doing it because they believe in something bigger than themselves. They do it because they believe that they're making this art for God. Essentially, that's what
a lot of them thought. Yeah.
That even Robert Eggers has said this in his in an interview. He was like, people used to create things solely based on the fact that they knew that they were lesser and they have to appease to something higher than them. And so if they don't make it perfect, then it's like you're dishonoring your God and whatever you're trying to appease to. But nowadays it's not even a thing about religion or
even perfection.
It's that people are not creating anything based off of something higher than themselves or something they want to really touch
I think
other people. It's more about them looking at how other people are going to perceive them, and it's less about doing something because you believe that it's higher than you. It's because you believe that you're capable of doing it. And I don't think people should just make things because they know that they could do it. They should do it because, it needs to be done, and it needs to be created for everybody, and not everybody, but for, I don't even know how to explain it. It's creating art not for the means of benefiting yourself, but for the means of benefiting society. And
world.
Something more than yourself.
I think what you're saying is that people are creating with less conviction,
Yes.
less of a belief within themselves, less of a thing that they need to get out of themselves, that they maybe don't fully understand. It's really actually about, a lot of art is very subconscious as well in that way. I just think a lot of people are curating and perfectly trying to tweak art to fit other people's ideas and to fit, what's going to make people addicted to it, what's going to become make me the most money, what are people going, like, in some cases, what's going to manipulate people emotionally into giving me money.
Yeah.
It's all very insincere, but when you're truly making art from an honest place, it's like this thing where it's like it doesn't even matter if it's perfect. There's just a way it has to be done, and yeah, I guess what you're saying is basically it. Like,
yeah, because in this movie, David King, he figures that out. He's like, the music is what's real. It's the thing that I need to strive for, and like really like that should be the most important thing.
Yeah.
And not just the money or the industry or this whole record deal thing going on. It's about getting back to the roots of what makes him happy and makes him want to do what he does.
Yeah, and I think that's why he does reject Young Felon in the end. That's why Young Felon doesn't get... In a way, he does kind of perform a godly move on him. He's like, no, I banish you to hell now.
Because Young Felon is asking him to promote himself, because he's like, yeah, I got all the attention, you got all the attention, we can make a great team, and then we can get everybody on our side to listen to our music. And David King is like, no, because you just want all the fame and all the glory for yourself, and that's not what music is about.
Yeah, all money ain't good money.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think, yeah, that's like his last act as like a guy. He's just like, I banish you, get out of here. Because it's like, yeah, we're never higher than the art itself, but when people who see art that way and who don't respect it and stuff, it's like, I'm not entertaining this nonsense. Yeah. Get out of my sight. That's not what he says. But anyway. Yeah, and then basically he's not... Because, yeah, like in Kurosawa's film, they're both in currency, both attention and money. They are not that far off, either of them. They're both kind of in a similar place. Because, yeah, they recovered Denzel's money, but he has to give that back to the investors. So he's kind of not... He's kind of out. Yeah. And fucking A$AP Rocky's character, Young Felon... he doesn't have a lot of money, but he has a lot of positive attention, and so does David King. But so it's like, yeah, they could be mirrored, but no, the movie is clearly delineating between how we perceive art, how we maintain our humility in the face of it, and how that is not something that you can, like... I don't want to... I mean, obviously that's something that you can change, but it's like...
It's kind of unfortunate because, Young Felon, he has this very beautiful girlfriend, and he has his child. They named the child after the David Washington. Denzel Washington, his character. And now he's going to be in prison, and that kid's going to grow up thinking his dad's like a piece of crap. He kind of is a piece of crap, but... He's going to have that same cyclical motion in which, Young Felon didn't like his dad, because where was his dad? They didn't really explain, but he wasn't in his life.
Yeah.
And it's this unfortunate cycle of, like, this hate and, like, trying to get something that you can't achieve or get done. You get in trouble for doing this stuff, and it's... You kind of see how the system... is lacking in our just the entire, like, criminal system, like people going to jail, not really learning from that moment, like,
and now his family is just left behind.
Yeah, it's, you could see that the institutions aren't helping the people at all. It's just making it worse.
Yeah.
And it's just everything's just happening again and again and again, because there is no rehabilitation. Even with the Jeffrey Wright character, he went to prison, he got out, he went on probation. He's all good now, but people still don't care about him.
Right, exactly. That public perception is kind of still... Yeah. That institutionalized perception of him is still there.
Yeah.
I just think also, like... I don't think this movie is completely unempathetic to Young Felon, because I think that... Yeah, like you're saying, it's very unfortunate. It's like he can't come to the understanding of what David King really means by what he's saying by the end of the movie. But, like, if he had just used I don't think it puts fully the blame on him, like we're talking about with the institution, and it's still got a lot about class divide and capitalism and all that stuff in the movie, but it's just unfortunate that led to such a, I guess, warped perception on the music itself, that he couldn't really process his pain properly through the art form that he was already, he has like talent to him. It's just like
he's actually, like, if you think about it, the dude was kind of really smart. He was brilliant. Like, the whole way that they did the kidnapping and was able to get the money.
Oh, yeah, same thing with the kidnapper in High and Low.
Yeah, they're very smart, and they could use their talents for a better use, but they do it for this not even evil thing, but this selfish kind of...
But again, that is what is most incentivized of them under these systems.
Yeah.
So it's like, we could put blame on him, but we have to also put that equal blame on the system.
Because he's not given the support to believe in himself, in like being able to get what he wants, because everybody keeps telling him throughout his life, probably since he's from such a poor part of the neighborhood, that he's never gonna achieve what he wants.
I mean, there's also the race aspect of it. Like, the education gap. I think that's what it's called. It's the idea that, like, Black and Hispanic students in the same schools, they kind of fall behind. Why? And it's because of all of the messaging that's put into the world, and all of the ideals of, like, capitalism in America. Like, they're kind of against them. Yeah. And so it's not about the fact that these people aren't smart. It's that they're not... The system doesn't incentivize them to believe in themselves.
Yeah, that's why DEI was very important for people in America, because it incentivized these people of color to be more, do more, and to have success in their lives. Now you got a president who's like, no, take that out.
Yeah, and
it's crazy, because it's basically just saying, no, we need racism back in our society. Why? What is this gonna help with?
It's all about insecure people making themselves feel better. That's literally it.
It's just these white people just being like, we don't got people. They're taking our jobs. What jobs? The jobs you don't want to do? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
This is insane.
Yeah. It's really unfortunate. But yeah, I just think, like, a lot of that with that character is being overlooked by a lot of people.
Yeah.
In terms of this film. But I guess we kind of covered exactly what our last topic was, which was comparing High and Low with Highest to Lowest. We basically just did that. It like we said at the beginning, Spike Lee is not trying to replicate Kurosawa's film, because, again, that's what Young Felon would do, really. Like, if you think about it, he would just be like, oh, this works.
Yeah, he would try to make it, like, exact same movie, exact same plot and characters and everything, and they just, like, transcribe it to an American audience, and that's not...
I don't think Spike Lee directed Oldboy. I think Young Felon directed Oldboy.
Old Felon.
Also, I would like to say, I do think that this movie is semi-autobiographical, or at least a little bit personal, when it comes to the David King character.
Yeah, I'm sure Spike Lee is probably been through the motions, in which he's like this big director, and like everybody looks up to him, and as a black director, especially, he's like considered one of the greats of American cinema. And again, he has these hits and misses, and he's had his great moments, and he's had his not so great moments, and he's kind of have to come to the conclusion that it's not about having the great moments or the not so great moments. It's about creating that art and just putting it out there and making sure that he still has the integrity of what he's trying to put out with his messaging and what he's trying to say, and how he's saying it through his auteurisms and his style, and just meshing them together to where he believes that this is what he wants to put out, and this is what's good, and this is not some studio fear that people will just watch and throw away after the first
Yeah, and I think, I mean, obviously he didn't write this movie, but I think, I mean, that's probably why he was interested in directing this movie.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you can see that with the final scene, which is the only thing we haven't really talked about, which is David King wears this cross necklace now. There's a close-up of it. I think that's symbolic of the fact that his faith in the art is now restored, and that his humility is restored. His feet are back on the ground. We get this great ballad kind of song. I forget the name of the artist who actually sings it in the movie, who plays...
It's like...
well, no, Sula C. Singh is the name of the character. I'm
Sula
talking about the person.
Sing.
Yeah. What does the C stand for? Can. I love that. But they take time to really get to know her before she sings. They ask her about stuff. They explore her history. They look at her character. Then they hear her sing, and it's, this beautiful song, and kind of puts a little bow on the movie. And Denzel gets really into it, and then he asks, like, the question that's from the trailer, where it's this very long question that I can't even remember, but he talks about, like, can you handle the success? Can you handle the failures? Can you handle the money? Can you handle the fame? Can you handle the memes? Can you handle everything? And I think he might be asking that to young artists everywhere.
Yeah.
Spike Lee himself. It's like, if you want to be an artist, can you handle all of these different things that are going to happen? Can you handle the fact that you're going to be tempted to lose your faith in it, or to lose your integrity all the time? That you're going to have flops, that you're going to be seen a certain way, all these different things.
Yeah.
And I think that's just a really nice way to end the movie off.
Yeah, no, it's great. I truly think this is, honestly, at this point, one of the best movies of the year.
Yeah, it's like top 5 for me, I think.
Yeah, it's so good. The way he just adapts the movie, it's so him, and it's so fun to watch. And I want to watch it again. Like, I've already seen it twice. I just want to watch it again. Like, it's just great, like, entertainment, but also with a great message.
Yeah. And it's a truly contemporary film.
Yeah. Just
like Kurosawa's was back in the day.
Yeah. So that's highest to lowest.
That's highest to lowest.
That's our take on it. Hopefully you guys will watch it. Obviously it's not, you can't really watch it right now, but it comes out on Apple Plus
September 5th.
So go check it out if you have.
And if
Apple
you
Plus,
have it playing near you in a theater, please go see it in a theater first, because it does deserve it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this movie. Final rating, I'm giving this 5 apples in the box out of 5 because, like I said at the beginning, it's a perfect Spike Lee joint, and I think that's the curve you should rate it on, is how good of a Spike Lee joint it is.
On all my reviews, I've given it 4.5. But for this episode, I think I'll give it a 5. I'll give it a 5 apples in a box. I don't think I'll change my reviews on Letterboxd, but I will say it is like one of those movies where it's like it doesn't really matter whatever flaws I believe that there are in the film, because it just kind of overcomes them. It's just a great movie. And so I'll give it 5 apples in a box.
Yeah, and I think that everything is relative. You know, I feel worried when I give something a 5 like this. I'm like, I'm just throwing these out.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Everything is relative. And a lot of people don't understand that. The worry that I have only comes from the fact that I know people don't understand that. But fuck those people, okay? It doesn't matter. I can give that shit a 5 if I want to. And the reason I'm giving it a 5, like I said, is because I am grading this on how effective of a Spike Lee joint it is. Yeah. And I think it's a perfect Spike Lee joint, and I think we both agree on that.
Speaking of which, what's your favorite Spike Lee movie?
Honestly, right now, I don't know. Because...
Is it highest to lowest?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I would have to get... You know what? I think mine is Black Klansman.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
great.
think so, because it was the first one I saw. I saw it in the theater, and it gave me a rare moment that I get sometimes in the theater. It's like one of like maybe I can count on one hand films that have done this for me, where I had an actual out of body experience watching the movie. The tension was so palpable in that movie that during the climax of the movie, I remember the exact scene. It was the scene where he's asking the lady where she put the bomb. I'm being very vague.
Yeah.
And then the cops come up and she tries to frame him, and he starts to get arrested. Like, it's all very sudden and very chaotic. And then, Adam Driver's character pulls up, and that's when I breathed. Like, I literally did not breathe for a while when that was happening. And I was like so invested. I was so concerned about what was going to happen. And then when that scene like subsided, I like looked around. I was like, "Oh fuck! I'm a guy. I exist. I have a life outside the theater." I like forgot who I was watching the movie. I was just nothing. I didn't exist. The movie was just playing in front of me, and it like occupied my whole field of vision. I did not exist.
Yeah.
I could not. My body was numb. It didn't exist.
Yeah.
So that is the most magical thing that can happen in a movie. So I think if a movie does that, I have to give it props. I think that would be number one.
Yeah, I love I love Black Klansman. It's so good. It could possibly be my favorite as well. But that's the thing with ranking directors' films, is that some are great because they're great. Some are great because you personally love them. Some are great because of both. And there's a lot of Spike Lee movies that it's hard to so I'll just say like a few of my favorites. So Black Klansman's definitely up there. Inside Man is probably my personal just raw favorite Spike Lee movie, because that's the first Spike Lee movie I saw, and I saw it when I was a kid when it came out, and I loved that heist movie. It's so good. I love the music in it. But I also love like He Got Game. I think that's such an underrated Spike Lee movie. Like, people don't talk about that movie as much as they should. It's so good. Aaron Copland's they just use music from that guy in the movie, and it feels just right. And then there's also 25th Hour, which is just him just on God mode the entire time. It's so good. And obviously Do the Right Thing and Malcolm X. He's got so many great movies, but I think
Bamboozled's
also
pretty good.
Yeah, that's also really good. But if I'm gonna, obviously, if I pick like a personal favorite, it would be Inside Man. But if I pick one that's kind of my personal and this is a movie people should like really watch, I think I want to say it's up to 25th Hour and Black Klansman. It's like one of those two. But yeah, he's great. Watch his movies, guys. Watch more Spike Lee movies.
And what's your favorite Kurosawa? I'll just say it. It's Ikiru. I've talked about it before. Maybe we'll talk about it eventually in depth.
For Kurosawa, I gotta say Seven Samurai. It's the classic. It's the one. It's him. It's the one. It's the most. I feel like it's the most influential of his movies.
Probably. It's like one of the most movies. You know what I mean? Like, it's the movie.
It's the movie to
ever exist.
Yeah.
And what's, in your opinion, a good remake of another movie?
Well, I gotta talk about my boy Spielberg here. One of my favorites. I just thought about this. I wasn't really thinking about all the movies. It just kind of came to me. I was thinking of West Side Story and War of the Worlds. Both remakes that Spielberg have done that adds and gives homage to the originals that they were based on, and they're so good. They're so good. It doesn't do that crap that this newest War of the Worlds does with its adaptation, which is like, I don't even know what they were trying to do there. Except sell a product, I guess. But yeah, that War of the Worlds movie is so good. I think it's also underrated in terms of Spielberg's filmography. It's such a great analogy to the 9/11 uh, incident event. I don't know.
I mean,
And then West Side Story is just like it's hard to do a remake of the original West Side Story. And I was I when I first heard about it, I was like, how are they gonna do it? What are they gonna do any better or different? And Spielberg does it. Of course, he does it.
that movie is like transcendent. It
It's
is
so
fun.
good. That's just like my quick thought. I just had to bring it back to Spielberg. But what about you?
I don't honestly like if I sat down and thought about it for longer, I'd probably come up with better answers. But right now, the only two I can think of are like Nightmare Alley, the Del Toro one. I like that one. Nosferatu.
Oh yeah, old buddy Orlock over here.
I wouldn't. Obviously, it's not favorite remakes. It's just these are good.
Yeah, no, I actually would agree with you. This like Nosferatu is like incredible. Like maybe this is a hot take, but it's the best Nosferatu out there. Yeah, of the movies.
I actually haven't seen the other one. So
there's two other ones. There's the
Werner Herzog one. Yeah, I haven't seen that one either. But that's it.
Yeah. Let us know your favorite Spike Lee movie, your favorite Kurosawa movie, or your favorite remake.
Yeah. Answer those questions. Leave a comment. Give us a like. Give us a follow. Give us a subscribe. Follow us on other platforms. And stay tuned next week.
Yeah, just talk to us.
Stay tuned.
Let us know what we should talk about.
Yeah, send us an email. Stay tuned next week for the finale of our Cameron Crowe and Richard Linklater series. That will be next week. For now, see Highest to Lowest if you can in a theater. If not, see it on Apple TV September 5th.
If not, see High and Low.
See High and Low. Get prepared. Get educated. Get ready for it. And be curious about movies.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, I think we're good.
All right. I've been Peyton.
And I've been Adryon.
And we will see you next time on the Apple Box.